Everyone assumes the person who changes your life will become your wife. Mine didn't. She wasn't my girlfriend. She wasn't a relative. She wasn't even someone I knew. In fact, I only spent about 4 hours with her, but those 4 hours completely changed the direction of my life. My name is Jason, and I think about her almost every day. 5 years ago, I was completely burned out. I was 28, working 70-hour weeks, sleeping 4 or 5 hours a night. My promotion had become my entire personality. Money kept increasing, happiness didn't. My friends slowly stopped inviting me out. My parents complained they barely saw me. Even my doctor warned me that constant stress would eventually catch up with me. I ignored everyone. I convinced myself success required sacrifice. Then one rainy Thursday changed everything. I had just finished another 12-hour shift. My phone battery was dead. My train home had been canceled. The station was packed. Everyone looked angry, including me. I grabbed the last empty seat near an older woman reading a paperback novel. She looked to be around 70, neatly dressed, silver hair, calm, completely unaffected by the chaos around her. After about 20 minutes, she smiled at me. Long day? I laughed. Long year? She closed her book. Those are much harder. Normally, I hate small talk. For some reason, I kept talking. Maybe because she actually listened. Not politely, genuinely. I told her about work, about missing birthdays, about eating dinner at my desk most nights, about believing I'd finally be happy after the next promotion. When I finished, she asked one question. When was the last time you were excited to wake up? I opened my mouth, then realized I didn't have an answer. Not yesterday, not last month, maybe not even the previous year. She nodded as if she'd expected that. You know what the saddest part is? What? You don't even sound surprised. That sentence hit harder than anything my boss had ever said. Our train was delayed another hour. We kept talking. She told me she'd been a hospice nurse for over 30 years. She'd spent thousands of hours with people during the final days of their lives. I asked if she'd ever heard someone wish they'd worked more. She smiled sadly. Not once. What did they regret? She looked out the rain-covered window. They missed ordinary moments. Family dinners. Children growing up. Conversations they thought could wait. They spent years chasing tomorrow and discovered tomorrow eventually stops coming. The station announcement interrupted us. Another delay. Neither of us minded anymore. She asked me what I actually enjoyed doing, not what I did for work, what made me lose track of time. I admitted I loved photography. I used to spend weekends hiking with a camera. I'd even won local competitions years earlier. So why did you stop? I got busy. She laughed softly. No. You got distracted. There's a difference? Again, she was right. Before leaving, she reached into her bag. She handed me a small folded piece of paper. Don't open it until you get home. Then she stood. Her train had finally arrived. I never even asked her name. She simply smiled. I hope you remember this conversation. Then she disappeared into the crowd. When I finally got home, I unfolded the note. It contained only one sentence. Success means very little if you forget how to live. I taped that note above my desk. At first, nothing changed. Then little things started happening. I left work 30 minutes earlier one Friday. The next week, I accepted a friend's dinner invitation. A month later, I bought a new camera. For the first time in years, I spent an entire Saturday hiking instead of answering emails. Something inside me slowly came back to life. 6 months later, my company offered me another promotion. More money, more responsibility, more hours. Old Jason would have accepted before the meeting ended. Instead, I turned it down. My manager thought I was joking. I wasn't. That decision confused everyone. Some coworkers called me crazy. Others assumed I'd found another job. Neither was true. I simply wanted my life back. Over the following year, I reduced my hours, started freelancing as a photographer on weekends. Eventually, those weekend jobs became regular clients, then commercial projects, then travel assignments. Today, photography is my full-time career. Ironically, I now earn almost the same income I did in corporate life. The difference? I actually recognize the person in the mirror. 2 years after meeting that woman, I returned to the same train station, same day, same time. I hoped I'd somehow see her again. She never appeared. I even asked employees whether they recognized her description. Nobody did. Sometimes I wonder if she remembers our conversation at all. She probably doesn't. To her, it may have been an ordinary conversation with a tired stranger. To me, it was the turning point of my entire adult life. People often ask who inspired me to change careers. They're always surprised when I tell them it wasn't a famous entrepreneur or a motivational speaker or a millionaire. It was an elderly woman whose name I never learned. Looking back, she didn't give me magical advice. She simply asked the questions I'd spent years avoiding. Sometimes that's all it takes. One honest conversation, one uncomfortable question, one person willing to tell you the truth instead of what you want to hear. I still carry that folded. Note in my camera bag, the paper is worn now. The ink has started fading, but the message hasn't. Whenever I catch myself chasing achievements instead of experiences, I read it again. Success means very little if you forget how to live. Maybe that's why I never tried to find her. Some people aren't meant to stay in your life forever. They are only meant to appear long enough to change it. If you've ever met someone for only a few minutes who ended up changing your entire life, share your story in the comments below. Sometimes the most important people we ever meet are the ones we never see again.